Have you ever wondered why some people seem to heal while they sleep, while others wake up with the same worries they went to bed with? My friend, I'm going to share something with you tonight that changed everything for me many years ago. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. Right now, as you listen to my voice, there's a part of you that's working, always working, either building you up or tearing you down. The question isn't whether your mind is active while you rest. The question is, what are you programming it to do? Tonight, we're going to change that program together. I want you to get comfortable. Really comfortable. Because we're going to spend some time together. You and I. And in this time, I'm going to share with you everything I've learned about the power of your subconscious mind, about the healing that happens in sleep, about the transformation that's possible when you learn to work with the natural laws of your own consciousness. By the end of our time together, you'll understand how to use the hours you sleep as the most powerful healing time of your life. You'll learn techniques that have transformed thousands of lives, including my own. But more than that, you'll understand why these techniques work. You'll understand the principles behind them. And that understanding will set you free, because once you understand the laws, you can apply them to any situation, any problem, any challenge you face. You're tired of waking up tired, aren't you? I know you are. Tired of carrying yesterday's stress into today. Tired of feeling like rest doesn't actually restore you. Tired of going to bed with problems, and waking up with the same problems, or worse ones. I understand. I've been there myself. I know what it's like to feel trapped in your own mind, imprisoned by your own thoughts, exhausted by your own worry. Here's what's been happening, my friend. You've been unknowingly programming failure, worry, and limitation into your subconscious mind every single night. And your subconscious, faithful servant, that it is, has been delivering exactly what you've been requesting. You see, your subconscious doesn't judge. It doesn't say, "Oh, that's a bad thought, I won't manifest that." No, it simply accepts what you give it, and creates more of the same. You've tried positive thinking during the day, haven't you? You've tried affirmations. You've tried to change your mindset. But the moment you lie down at night, the doubts return. The fears creep back in. The worries multiply. And you fall asleep in a state of anxiety, frustration, or resignation. That's because most people are working against the natural rhythm of the mind. They're trying to program their subconscious when their conscious mind is most active and most resistant. But the time of greatest receptivity is right before sleep, when the conscious mind relaxes its grip. I've spent my entire life studying the subconscious mind, not as theory, but as living truth. I've seen these principles work in my own life, and in the lives of thousands who've applied them. This isn't philosophy, my friend. This is practical psychology, spiritual law, and ancient wisdom combined. This is science and spirituality, meeting in perfect harmony. Right now, you might be lying in bed with your mind racing, replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow, feeling tension in your body that won't release. Or maybe you're listening to this during the day, feeling exhausted, feeling like no matter how much you sleep, you never feel rested. I want you to imagine something different. Imagine drifting to sleep with a deep sense of peace, knowing your subconscious is working for you, healing your body, solving your problems, attracting good into your life, all while you rest effortlessly. That's not a dream. That's not wishful thinking. That's what's available to you starting tonight. Most people think healing requires effort, struggle, treatment from outside themselves. They think they need to find the right doctor, the right medicine, the right therapy. And yes, those things have their place. I'm not telling you to ignore medical help. But I am telling you that the greatest healing power in the universe is already inside you. Your subconscious mind controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, your immune system, all without your conscious effort. Every function of your body is controlled by your subconscious. Why wouldn't it heal everything else if you simply gave it the right instructions? Tonight isn't about complex techniques or hours of meditation. This is about working with your mind the way it was designed to work. Simple, natural, powerful. Before you sleep is when your subconscious is most receptive. It's the golden moment, the open door, We're going to walk through that door together, and I'm going to hold your hand every step of the way. I know you're here, because something needs to change. Maybe you're hurting physically. Maybe you have a condition that's been with you for years, and you've tried everything. Maybe you're exhausted emotionally. Maybe you're grieving or depressed or anxious, and you can't seem to find relief. Maybe you're stuck in circumstances that feel impossible. Financial problems that won't resolve. Relationship issues that keep repeating. Patterns you can't seem to break. I want you to know, I see you. I've been there. I've experienced pain, lack, confusion, desperation. I'm not speaking to you from some ivory tower of perfection. I'm speaking to you as someone who found a way out of darkness into light. And I promise you, there is a way forward that doesn't require more struggle. It requires surrender, surrender to the healing power within you. Surrender to the infinite intelligence that created you and sustains you. Now let me take you on a journey through some experiences, mine and others, that will show you the power of what we're talking about tonight. These aren't fairy tales. These are real people, real transformations, real proof that what I'm sharing with you works. I'm going to tell you these stories in detail, because I want you to see yourself in them. I want you to understand that if it worked for these people, it can work for you. There's nothing special about them. They're ordinary people who learned to use extraordinary laws. Let me tell you about a man I met years ago. We'll call him Thomas. Thomas came to see me in my office one afternoon, and I could see the fear in his eyes before he even sat down. He was a big man, strong, used to working with his hands. But on that day, he looked small, defeated, terrified. The doctors had given him a serious diagnosis. His heart, they said, was failing. They gave him months to live. Maybe a year, if he was lucky. Thomas was only 42 years old. He had a wife, 3 young children. The youngest was only 5 years old. He was terrified of leaving them. Terrified of the pain. Terrified of death itself. He sat across from me and said, "Dr. Murphy, I'll try anything. I've been to the best cardiologists in the city. They're doing what they can, but they've told me to prepare my family. They've told me to get my affairs in order. I don't accept it. I can't accept it. But I don't know what else to do." I looked at Thomas, and I felt such compassion for him. I'd seen this so many times. People given death sentences by medical authorities, and because they respect those authorities, they accept the sentence. They begin to live as if they're already dying. I said to Thomas, "Before we talk about your heart, I want to talk about your mind. Tell me, what do you think about as you fall asleep at night?" He looked confused by the question. He frowned. He said, "I think about dying. I think about my kids growing up without a father. I think about my wife alone. I think about the pain in my chest. I lie awake for hours, sometimes, feeling my heart beating, wondering if this is the night it stops. Every single night, Dr. Murphy. Every single night I go through this torture." That's when I knew. I understood immediately what was happening. Thomas's conscious mind had accepted a death sentence from an external authority, and every night, as he fell asleep, he was impressing that sentence deeper and deeper into his subconscious mind. His subconscious, which controls every function of his body including his heart, was receiving the instruction, "You are dying." Every night. With intense emotion. With fear. With conviction. And the subconscious was following that instruction faithfully. I said to Thomas, "Your conscious mind has accepted a diagnosis, but it doesn't have to be a prophecy. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what a doctor tells you and what you tell yourself. It only knows what you impress upon it with feeling and repetition. Right now, you're programming your subconscious for death every single night. What if, instead, you programmed it for life?" He looked at me with a mixture of hope and skepticism. "How?" he asked. "How do I do that?" I taught Thomas a very simple technique. I said, "Starting tonight, as you lie down to sleep, you're going to change what you say to yourself. Instead of thinking about your heart failing, you're going to say to yourself, 'My heart is strong and healthy. The infinite healing presence is flowing through every cell of my heart, restoring it to perfect function. My heart beats strongly, and regularly. I am healed, whole and perfect. And you're going to repeat this, not mechanically like a robot, but with feeling. You're going to feel your heart strong in your chest. You're going to imagine yourself playing with your children, running, laughing, fully alive and vital. You're going to see yourself at your daughter's wedding someday. You're going to imagine growing old with your wife. And you're going to fall asleep in that feeling, in that vision, in that reality. Thomas looked at me like I was crazy. He said, "That's it? That's the treatment? You want me to just think positive thoughts and my heart will heal?" I understand his skepticism. It sounds too simple. But I said to Thomas, this isn't positive thinking in the way you understand it. This is reprogramming your subconscious mind. Your body is controlled by your subconscious. Every heartbeat, every breath, every healing process, all controlled by your subconscious. Right now, your subconscious is creating a failing heart, because that's what you're telling it to create. Change what you're impressing on your subconscious, and your body must follow. It's not my law, Thomas. It's universal law. It's how the mind works. I explained to him further. I said, your doctors have done their part. They've given you medicine, advice, treatment. I'm not asking you to reject that. But they can't control what you think. They can't control what you feel. And those thoughts and feelings are more powerful than any medicine, because they're working directly on the subconscious mind that controls your body. To his credit, Thomas decided to try. What did he have to lose? He went home that day, and that night, he began the practice. He told me later it was hard at first. His mind kept wanting to go back to the fear. The old thoughts kept trying to intrude. But every time they did, he would gently redirect. My heart is strong and healthy. I am healed. I am whole. Over and over. And he would visualize himself alive, vibrant, present with his family. The first few nights, he said, he didn't feel much different. But he kept going. Night after night after night. Even when he didn't feel like it. Even when the fear tried to creep back in during the day. At night, he would lie down and program his subconscious for health, for life, for wholeness. And something remarkable began to happen. After about 2 weeks, Thomas noticed he was sleeping better. The anxiety that had plagued him every night began to ease. After a month, he realized he hadn't been focusing on his chest pain as much during the day. After 2 months, his wife commented that he seemed more like his old self, more peaceful, more present. His next checkup with the cardiologist was scheduled for 3 months after he started the practice. He went in expecting the worst, but trying to maintain his faith. The doctor ran all the tests. Thomas sat in the examination room, repeating his affirmations silently while he waited for the results. When the doctor came back in, he had a puzzled look on his face. He said, "Thomas, I don't know how to explain this. Your heart is showing improvement. Significant improvement. Frankly, I didn't expect this. Let's keep monitoring it." Thomas continued the practice. Every single night without fail. 6 months later, another checkup. More improvement. The doctor said, "This is highly unusual. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Thomas smiled and said, "I'm sleeping well, doctor. That's all. I'm sleeping very well." A year after Thomas first came to see me, he returned to my office. But this time, he wasn't afraid. He was beaming. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I just came from my cardiologist. My heart is functioning normally. Completely normally." He said it's the most remarkable recovery he's seen in his career. He called it spontaneous remission. A medical miracle. But Thomas and I, we looked at each other and we knew. We knew it wasn't spontaneous at all. It was the result of 12 months of nightly programming, of impressing health and life on the subconscious mind, of working with the laws of consciousness rather than against them. The last time I saw Thomas, several years later, he was healthy and strong. His youngest daughter was graduating from elementary school. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, "Dr. Murphy, I realize now that I was killing myself every night with my own thoughts. My thoughts were more dangerous than my heart condition. Every night, I was programming my subconscious for death. and my body was following those instructions. When I changed my thoughts, when I changed what I impressed on my subconscious, my heart had no choice but to heal. My body followed my mind. He said, "You gave me back my life." But I corrected him. I said, "Thomas, I didn't give you anything. I simply showed you how to use what you already had. The healing power was always inside you. It was always there. You just didn't know how to activate it. Now you know. And you can never lose this knowledge. My friend, that's the power we're talking about tonight." Thomas's story is not unique. I've seen this happen over and over again with different conditions, different problems, different circumstances. The principle is always the same. Change what you impress on your subconscious mind, especially in those golden moments before sleep, and your outer world must change to match your inner world. But let me share something even more personal. Let me tell you about my own awakening to these truths. Because I want you to understand that I'm not just teaching theory. I'm sharing what I lived through, what I discovered in the crucible of my own suffering and searching. Many years ago, I was struggling. This was before I fully understood these principles. I had health problems that wouldn't resolve. Chronic digestive issues that left me weak and in pain. I'd been to doctor after doctor. They gave me different diagnoses, different treatments. Nothing worked. Or if it worked temporarily, the problem would return. I was also dealing with financial lack that seemed impossible to overcome. I was studying to become a minister, which meant I wasn't earning much money. Bills were piling up. I couldn't see a way forward. But the worst part wasn't the physical pain or the financial stress. The worst part was the mental anguish. I would lie awake at night, mind racing with worry. How will I pay this bill? What if this condition gets worse? Why does nothing ever work out for me? What's wrong with me? Why can other people succeed, and I can't? Round and round these thoughts would go, like a record stuck in a groove, playing the same painful tune over and over. During the day, I was studying spiritual principles, learning about faith and prayer, and the power of God. I was teaching others these principles. I was giving sermons about trusting in divine providence. But in my private life, I was failing. I couldn't seem to apply what I was teaching. There was a gap between the knowledge in my head and the results in my life. That gap was torture. It made me feel like a hypocrite. Here I was, teaching others to have faith, and I couldn't even heal my own body or improve my own circumstances. One night, I hit rock bottom. I was in such pain, physical and emotional, that I couldn't take it anymore. I fell to my knees beside my bed and I cried out. I said, "God, if you're real, if there's really a power greater than my problems, show me. I'm willing to surrender everything. I don't know what else to do. I just need to know the truth. I need to know if any of this is real, or if I've been deceiving myself." In that moment of complete surrender, something shifted. I can't fully explain it in words. It was like a presence entered the room. A peace came over me that I'd never known. It was as if all my anxiety, all my fear, all my struggle just lifted. And into my mind came a thought, as clear as if someone had spoken it aloud. The thought was this: stop trying to change your circumstances. Change your consciousness. Your circumstances are only the outer reflection of your inner convictions. Change what you believe in your heart, and your world must change. That was the beginning of my true awakening. I sat there on the floor beside my bed, and I understood. All this time, I'd been trying to fix the outer world. I'd been trying to make more money, trying to heal my body, trying to force solutions. But the outer world is only effect. The cause is in consciousness. I'd been working with effect, trying to manipulate effect. When I should have been working with cause, I began to study the subconscious mind with new intensity. Not as an intellectual exercise anymore, but as a matter of life and death. I read everything I could find. I studied psychology, philosophy, the mystics of all traditions. I experimented on myself. And I discovered something that changed everything. I discovered that every night, I had been programming my subconscious for failure. I fell asleep worried about money, so my subconscious spent all night creating more circumstances to worry about. I fell asleep in pain and fear, So my subconscious created more pain and fear. It was a vicious cycle. And the reason I couldn't break it is because I was trying to break it during the day, when my conscious mind was active and resistant. But the real programming happens at night, right before sleep, when the conscious mind relaxes, and the subconscious becomes receptive. I learned a technique from an old teacher, a man who understood these ancient laws. His name was Abdullah, and he was one of the wisest men I ever met. He told me, "Joseph, your subconscious mind is like soil. The soil doesn't care what you plant. It will grow weeds just as readily as flowers. You've been planting weeds every night before you sleep. Thoughts of lack, thoughts of sickness, thoughts of failure. And your subconscious, like faithful soil, has been growing exactly what you planted. It's time to plant something beautiful." He taught me to use the time before sleep deliberately. He said, "Every night before you drift off, impress upon your subconscious what you want, not what you don't want. Feel it as already done. Don't beg. Don't plead. Don't hope. Assume it's already yours. Feel the reality of it, and fall asleep in that feeling." So I started a new practice. Every night, before sleep, I would relax my body completely. I would take a few deep breaths, and then I would begin to speak to my subconscious, not out loud, but in my mind. I would say things like, "I am divinely guided. I am divinely prospered. Infinite intelligence reveals to me the perfect plan for my life. My body is a temple of the living God, and it's perfect in every way. I am healed. I am whole. I am abundant. I am free." At first, these words felt hollow. My conscious mind would argue, "No, you're not. Look at your bank account. Look at your symptoms. You're lying to yourself." But I persisted. I kept impressing these truths on my subconscious, especially right before sleep. And I would imagine. I would see myself healthy, vibrant, doing the things a healthy person does. I would see myself prosperous, paying my bills easily, having more than enough. I would feel it. I would make it real in my imagination. And I would fall asleep in that reality. The first few nights, my old worries would try to intrude. But I learned to be gentle with myself. I wouldn't fight the negative thoughts. I would just redirect, like a shepherd gently guiding a sheep back to the path. I would guide my mind back to the affirmation, back to the feeling of my wish fulfilled. Within weeks, things began to change. It wasn't dramatic at first. It was subtle. A new opportunity appeared out of nowhere. Someone offered me a small writing job that paid well. My digestive issues began to ease. I noticed I had more energy. These were small changes, but they were undeniable. And they gave me hope. They showed me the principle was working. I continued the practice every single night without fail. After about 2 months, the changes became more obvious. My health improved significantly. The pain that had plagued me for years diminished, and eventually disappeared. My financial situation stabilized, and then began to improve. But more important than the outer changes was the inner change. I felt different. I felt peaceful. I felt confident. I felt like I was finally working with life, instead of against it. That was over 30 years ago. Since then, I've never stopped this practice. Every single night, before I fall asleep, I impress upon my subconscious what I desire: health, wisdom, guidance, service, and every day, my life reflects what I've been impressing on my subconscious. It's not always easy. Problems still arise. Challenges still come. But now I have a tool. I have a method. I understand the laws. And that's what I want to give you tonight. The same understanding that set me free. The same technique that transformed my life. Because my friend, if these principles worked for me in my darkest hour, they can work for you. If they worked for Thomas facing death, they can work for you. Your problems might be different, but the solution is the same. Work with your subconscious mind. Use the time before sleep. Plant the right seeds. And watch what grows. But let me share another story, because I want you to see how universal these principles are. I want you to see that this works for all kinds of problems, not just health and finances. There was a woman who came to one of my lectures, years ago. We'll call her Margaret. After the lecture, People always come up to ask questions, to share their stories, to ask for guidance. Margaret approached me with tears in her eyes. She looked exhausted. There were dark circles under her eyes. She was thin, almost frail-looking. She said, "Dr. Murphy, I haven't slept properly in 12 years. 12 years. Can you imagine that? 12 years of lying awake night after night, desperate for rest that never comes." She told me she'd tried everything. Every sleeping pill the doctors prescribed. Every natural remedy. Meditation. Relaxation techniques. Sleep hygiene. Therapy. Nothing worked. She said, "I'm exhausted all the time. It's destroying my health. My immune system is weak. I get sick constantly. It's destroying my marriage because I'm irritable and short-tempered all the time. It's destroying my ability to work. I can barely function. I'm at the end of my rope." I felt such compassion for Margaret. Sleep deprivation is a form of torture, and she'd been enduring it for 12 years. I asked her the question I so often ask. "Margaret, what do you think about when you try to fall asleep? What goes through your mind as you lie there in bed?" She said, "I think about how I can't sleep. I think about how tired I'll be tomorrow. I watch the clock. 7 hours until I have to get up. 6 hours. 5 hours. I get more and more anxious. I start to panic. My heart races. My mind races. I'm terrified I won't be able to sleep. And then I don't sleep. And then the next night, I'm even more afraid because I know it's going to happen again." There it was. The root of the problem, right there in her own words. The fear of not sleeping was creating the not sleeping. She was programming her subconscious every single night with the expectation of insomnia. She was impressing upon her subconscious, "I can't sleep. Sleep is hard. Sleep is impossible." And her faithful subconscious was delivering exactly what she ordered. I explained this to her as gently as I could. I said, "Margaret, I understand this is going to sound strange, but your insomnia is not a physical problem, it's a mental pattern. You've conditioned your subconscious to expect sleeplessness. Every night, you reinforce that expectation with your fear and anxiety. Your subconscious has learned that bedtime equals panic, and it's following that program perfectly." She looked at me with frustration. She said, "But I can't help it. The fear just comes. I don't want to be anxious. I want to sleep." I said, "I understand. But here's a truth you need to grasp. You cannot force yourself to sleep any more than you can force a flower to bloom. Sleep is a natural process that happens when you let go, when you surrender, when you stop trying. But you've made sleep into a battle. You fight for it every night. And in that battle, you've armed your enemy. The harder you try, the more awake you become." I gave her a different approach. I said, "Tonight, you're going to do something revolutionary. You're going to stop trying to sleep. You're going to let go of sleep as a goal. Instead, you're simply going to lie in bed, relax your body, and repeat to yourself a very simple affirmation. You're going to say, 'I am relaxed and at peace. Divine love surrounds me and flows through me. I sleep in peace and wake in joy.' Whether you fall asleep or not doesn't matter. You're not going to judge yourself. You're not going to watch the clock. Your only job is to feel peaceful, and to impress upon your subconscious that sleep is natural, easy, and inevitable." Margaret looked skeptical. She said, "That's it? Just say some words and hope for the best?" I said, "Margaret, you've been saying words every night for 12 years. You've been saying, 'I can't sleep.' Those are words. Those are affirmations. Negative affirmations. And they've created negative results. Now you're going to say different words. Positive words. Words that program your subconscious for sleep, instead of for wakefulness. But more than the words," I said, "it's the feeling. You need to feel peaceful. You need to release the battle. You need to surrender. Stop making sleep your enemy. Trust that your body knows how to sleep. You slept as a baby. You slept as a child. Sleep is natural to you. You've just covered that naturalness with fear and anxiety. Remove the fear, and sleep will return." Margaret promised to try. She went home that night, with my words ringing in her ears. She told me later what happened. She went to bed at her usual time, with her usual dread. But this time, instead of watching the clock and panicking, she closed her eyes and began to repeat the affirmation. I am relaxed and at peace. Divine love surrounds me. I sleep in peace and wake in joy. At first, her mind wanted to argue. This isn't working. You're not going to sleep. Look, you're still awake. But she remembered what I said. She let those thoughts pass. She didn't fight them. She just gently returned to the affirmation, to the feeling of peace. Over and over. I am relaxed. I am at peace. I sleep in peace. That first night, she said, she didn't fall asleep quickly. She repeated the affirmation for what felt like hours. But something was different. For the first time in years, she wasn't panicking. She wasn't terrified. She was peaceful, even while awake. And at some point, she didn't even know when, she drifted off. Not forced. Not fought for. Just a natural drifting. She woke up 6 hours later, and at first she couldn't believe it. 6 hours. She'd slept for 6 hours straight without waking. She cried. She actually cried with relief and joy. The second night, she did the same practice. Affirmation, peace, surrender. She slept 5 hours. The third night, 7 hours. Within 2 weeks, Margaret was sleeping through the night regularly. Within a month, her insomnia was completely gone. Gone. She came back to see me, about 3 months later, and she was a different person. The dark circles were gone. Her eyes were bright. She'd gained healthy weight. She was smiling, vibrant, alive. She said, "Dr. Murphy, you gave me my life back." I said, "Margaret, I didn't give you anything. I simply showed you how to stop taking your life away from yourself. You were destroying your own sleep with fear. When you released the fear, and trusted in the natural process, sleep returned. It was always there, waiting for you." She told me something beautiful. She said, "I realize now that this principle works for everything. It's not just about sleep. For years, I've been fighting against my own life, struggling against my own nature, trying to force everything. Now I'm learning to let go, to trust, to work with the flow, instead of against it. Everything is easier. Everything is better. My friend, do you see what I'm trying to show you? Margaret's story is about more than insomnia. It's about a fundamental truth. So often, our biggest problems are created by our efforts to solve them. We try so hard, we struggle so much, we make everything into a fight. But the subconscious mind, which is the creative power within us, responds not to effort, but to surrender. Not to struggle, but to acceptance. Not to fear, but to faith. When you fight, you create resistance. When you surrender, you create flow. When you worry, you impress worry on your subconscious. When you trust, you impress trust. And your subconscious creates your outer world to match your inner world. Always. Without exception. That's the law. Now let me tell you about one more person before we move deeper into the principles. This story is about a man, we'll call him Richard. Richard was a businessman, very successful by worldly standards. He ran a large company. He had money, status, respect in his community. On the outside, he had everything. But when he came to see me privately, when no one else was around, the mask dropped, and what I saw was a man dying inside. He sat in my office and he said, "Dr. Murphy, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm not religious. I'm not spiritual. I'm a practical man. But I'm miserable, and I don't know what else to do. I have everything I thought I wanted, and I've never been more unhappy." His marriage, he said, was loveless. Just a social arrangement. His wife and he barely spoke. His children, 3 of them, were strangers to him. They were polite when they saw him. But there was no real connection, no warmth. He said, "I sacrificed everything for success. And now I have the success, and I've lost everything that matters." I asked him what he meant by sacrificed everything. He said, "I worked constantly. 70, 80 hours a week for years. I missed birthdays, school events, family dinners. I told myself it was for them, to provide for them, but really, it was for me. To prove something, to someone, to myself, maybe. He paused. Then he said quietly, to my father. I asked him to tell me about his father. Richard's whole body changed. His shoulders slumped. He suddenly looked like a hurt child rather than a powerful businessman. He said, my father was very hard on me, very critical. Nothing I did was ever good enough. If I got 95% on a test, he'd ask why it wasn't 100. If I came second in a race, he'd ask why I didn't come first. There was no praise, no affection, just constant criticism. The message was clear. Love had to be earned through achievement. So that's what I did. I achieved and achieved and achieved, thinking eventually it would be enough. But it never was. Even now, and my father's been dead for 10 years, the feeling of not being good enough has never gone away. I sat with Richard in silence for a moment, letting him feel the weight of what he'd just shared. Then I said, Richard, you're still trying to earn your father's love, but he's not here anymore. You're trying to prove yourself to a ghost. And in trying to prove yourself, you've lost yourself. You've become what you thought you needed to be rather than who you are. He nodded, tears in his eyes. He said, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm just this machine that works and achieves. But I feel empty inside. Completely empty. I said, Richard, here's what's happening. Your subconscious mind was programmed in childhood with a very deep belief. That belief is, I am not good enough. I am not worthy of love as I am. I must constantly achieve to have value. That programming has been running your life for 45 years. And every night, though you don't realize it, you fall asleep feeling inadequate, unworthy, empty. Your subconscious receives that feeling, and creates more circumstances that make you feel inadequate, unworthy, and empty. No amount of outer success can change that, because the problem is in your consciousness, not in your circumstances. I taught Richard to use his sleep time to reprogram those deep beliefs. Every night, I told him, you're going to do something radical. You're going to lie in bed and say to yourself, I am a beloved child of the infinite. I am worthy simply because I exist. I am enough exactly as I am. My value is inherent, not earned. I am loved, I am valued, I am enough. Richard looked uncomfortable with this. He said, but I don't feel that way. How can I say that when I don't believe it? I said, that's exactly why you need to say it. You don't believe it, because you were never taught to believe it. But it's the truth whether you believe it or not. You are a unique expression of the infinite. There's never been another you and there never will be. Your existence itself is valuable. You don't need to earn the right to exist. You don't need to earn love. Love is your birthright. But, I continued, your subconscious doesn't know this truth, because you've never told it. You've spent 45 years telling it the opposite. Now you need to reprogram it, and the way to do that is through repetition and feeling, especially before sleep when your subconscious is most receptive. I also gave Richard a visualization exercise. I said, every night, as you're falling asleep, I want you to imagine a scene. In this scene, you're a little boy again, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And your father comes to you. But this time he's different. This time he kneels down to your level. He looks you in the eyes with love. And he says the words you always needed to hear. He says, son, I love you exactly as you are. You don't need to do anything or achieve anything, or be anything other than who you are. You're enough. You're more than enough. I'm proud of you. I love you. I said, Richard, your father, in real life never said those words. But you can create this scene in your imagination. And to your subconscious, a vividly imagined experience with strong emotion is just as real as an actual experience. Give yourself the love you never received. Reprogram the belief. Heal the wound. Richard was skeptical, but he was also desperate. He agreed to try. He went home and began the practice. Every night, lying in bed, he would repeat the affirmations. I am worthy. I am enough. I am loved. At first, he told me later, it felt ridiculous. Childish. His critical mind mocked him. But he persisted. And he would do the visualization. He would see his father, in his imagination, giving him the love and approval he'd always craved. This was difficult. Sometimes he would cry. The emotions were powerful. But he kept doing it. After about 3 weeks, Richard noticed something. He realized he hadn't thought about work all evening one night. He just sat with his wife after dinner, and they'd actually talked. Really talked. Not just exchanged information. It was brief, but it was real. A few days later, his teenage daughter asked him for help with something, and instead of brushing her off or giving quick advice, he sat with her and really listened. He was present, really present, for the first time in years. The changes were gradual but undeniable. Richard began working fewer hours. Not because he forced himself to, but because he genuinely wanted to be home. He started feeling different inside. The desperate need to prove himself began to fade. The constant striving began to quiet. He started to feel, for the first time since childhood, a sense of peace, a sense of being okay just as he was. About 6 months into the practice, Richard came back to see me. He looked different. Softer somehow. More open. He said, "Dr. Murphy, something amazing is happening. My relationships are healing. My wife and I are connecting again. We're going to counseling together, working on things. My kids are opening up to me. But more than that, I'm different inside. I'm not trying to prove anything anymore. I'm not running from some feeling of inadequacy. I'm learning to just be. To be enough." He told me, "I finally understand. I was trying to earn love from the world, because I didn't love myself. I didn't even know that was what I was doing. But every night as I fell asleep, I was impressing on my subconscious, you're not enough. You need to do more, achieve more, be more." And my subconscious kept creating circumstances that reinforced that belief. Now I'm impressing something different. I am enough. I am loved. I am worthy. And my whole life is changing to match that belief. That was several years ago. Richard is a different man now. He still runs his company, but it doesn't run him. He's present with his family. He's at peace with himself. He told me recently, "You know what the irony is? Now that I've stopped trying so desperately to succeed, my business is actually doing better than ever. When I let go of the fear and the desperation, things started flowing more easily. It's like the universe responds to peace and confidence, rather than to struggle and fear." My friend, do you see the pattern in these 3 stories? Thomas, with his failing heart. Margaret with her insomnia. Richard with his inner emptiness. 3 very different problems, but the same solution. They all learned to use the time before sleep to reprogram their subconscious minds. They stopped impressing limitation, fear, and lack, and they started impressing health, peace, and wholeness. And their lives transformed. Not because of some external miracle, but because they worked with the laws of their own consciousness. These stories all point to the same fundamental principles. And that's what I want to share with you now in depth. Not as abstract theory, but as living laws that you can apply tonight, right now, as you listen to my voice. I'm going to break this down for you so clearly, so simply, that you'll understand exactly how your mind works, and exactly how to use it to heal, to prosper, to transform your life. Let me start with the first and most fundamental principle. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. This is so important, my friend. Your subconscious is active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It never takes a break. It never goes on vacation. It never clocks out. Right now, this very moment, whether you're aware of it or not, your subconscious is at work. Think about what your body is doing right now without any conscious effort from you. Your heart is beating between 60 and 100 times per minute, every minute, all day and all night. You don't think about it. You don't will it to happen. Your subconscious handles it. Your lungs are breathing between 12 and 20 breaths per minute, every minute, automatically. Your subconscious controls it. Your blood is circulating through miles and miles of blood vessels, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Your subconscious manages this incredible complexity. Your digestive system is working, breaking down food, extracting nutrients, eliminating waste. Your immune system is functioning, identifying threats, fighting infections, healing injuries. Your cells are regenerating, old cells dying, new cells being born, millions of them every single day. Your nervous system is firing, transmitting signals at incredible speeds. All of this, every bit of it, is controlled by your subconscious mind. You don't have to think about any of it. You couldn't manage all of it consciously, if you tried. The complexity is beyond your conscious capacity. Your subconscious is managing this incredibly complex organism that is your body. It knows how to heal a cut. It knows how to fight a virus. It knows how to regulate your temperature. It knows how to balance thousands of chemical processes happening simultaneously. It has intelligence far beyond your conscious understanding. This intelligence is in you, working every moment of every day. Now here's the crucial part. This same subconscious mind, that controls all these bodily functions, also creates your experiences, your circumstances, your life conditions. How? By accepting the thoughts and beliefs you impress upon it, and manifesting them in your reality. Your subconscious is the creative power within you. It takes the mental patterns you give it, and creates equivalent outer patterns. If you impress thoughts of health on your subconscious, it creates health in your body. If you impress thoughts of sickness, it creates sickness. If you impress thoughts of abundance, it creates abundance in your life. If you impress thoughts of lack, it creates lack. It doesn't argue. It doesn't reason. It doesn't say, "Oh, that's not good for you. I won't create that." No. It simply accepts what you give it and creates accordingly. Your subconscious is completely neutral. This is so important to understand. It has no preference for good or bad, positive or negative, health or sickness, wealth or poverty. It's like soil, as I've said before. Soil doesn't care what seed you plant. Plant a rose seed, you get roses. Plant a weed seed, you get weeds. The soil doesn't judge. It just grows, whatever you give it. Your subconscious mind is the soil of your life. Whatever thoughts and beliefs you plant, especially those planted with strong emotion and repetition, will grow and manifest in your experience. This is not metaphor. This is how it actually works. This is psychological and spiritual law. Now, why is nighttime so crucial? Why am I emphasizing the time before sleep? Because when you lie down to sleep, your conscious mind begins to relax its control. During the day, your conscious mind is active. It's the part of you that thinks, reasons, analyzes, judges, makes decisions. It's your waking awareness. And the conscious mind acts as a gatekeeper to your subconscious. It filters what gets through during the day. If you try to tell yourself an affirmation like "I am wealthy," your conscious mind immediately argues, "No, you're not. Look at your bank account. You see bills you can't pay." The conscious mind blocks the affirmation from reaching the subconscious with its doubt and skepticism. The affirmation has no power because it can't get past the gatekeeper. But at night, as you're drifting off to sleep, something wonderful happens. The conscious mind gets tired. Its critical, reasoning faculty begins to quiet. The gatekeeper starts to doze. This is what's called the hypnagogic state. That twilight zone between waking and sleeping. In this state, your subconscious becomes highly receptive. It's like the door to your subconscious opens wider. The filter is removed. Whatever you impress upon your subconscious in those moments goes deep. It sinks in without the interference of doubt, fear, and rational argument. This is why, in every spiritual tradition throughout human history, you find the practice of prayer before sleep. The ancient Hebrews prayed before sleep. The early Christians prayed before sleep. The Muslims, the Hindus, the Buddhists, indigenous peoples all around the world, all have some practice of sacred thought or prayer before sleep. This isn't coincidence. This isn't just religious ritual. These ancient ones understood something profound about the human mind. They understood that the moments before sleep are sacred because they're powerful. They're creative. They're when you program your subconscious for what happens in your life. Even modern psychology has discovered this. Studies show that the thoughts you have before sleep influence your dreams, your mood upon waking, even your behavior the next day. Scientists talk about memory consolidation during sleep, how your brain processes and stores the day's experiences. What they're discovering is what the mystics always knew. Your mind is most impressionable, most programmable, right before you fall asleep. So if you fall asleep, worrying about problems, replaying arguments, feeling anxious about the future, you're programming your subconscious to create more problems, more conflict, more anxiety. If you fall asleep in gratitude, in peace, in the feeling of your wishes fulfilled, you're programming your subconscious to create more circumstances that match that frequency. This brings me to the second principle, what I call the last thought law. Your last waking thought before sleep is magnified exponentially. Why? Because, as you drift into sleep, that thought drops into your subconscious without any conscious resistance, and your subconscious, which never sleeps, works on that thought all night long. Think of it this way. Your last thought, before sleep, is like an instruction you give to a faithful servant who works through the night. If you say, worry about this problem, your servant worries about the problem all night, turning it over and over, making it bigger and more complex, finding more reasons to worry. If you say, thank you for all my blessings, your servant spends all night finding more blessings, more reasons for gratitude, creating circumstances that match that feeling of abundance. Your subconscious takes your last thought as a command. This is what you want me to focus on. This is what you want more of. And it goes to work creating that reality. All night long, while your conscious mind is offline, your subconscious is active, working on whatever program you gave it. Let me give you a personal example of this. Years ago, I was working on a writing project, a book. I was stuck on a particular chapter. I couldn't figure out how to structure it, what to include, how to make my point clear. I spent all day thinking about it, and I was getting nowhere. I was frustrated. That evening, I remembered the principle I'm teaching you now. So before I went to sleep, I said to my subconscious, I give this problem to you. While I sleep, reveal to me the perfect structure for this chapter. Then I let it go. I didn't think about it anymore. I just trusted and fell asleep. The next morning, I woke up, and the answer was there. Clear as day. I saw the whole structure of the chapter. I knew exactly what to write, and in what order. It was as if someone had written an outline for me while I slept. I got up, went to my desk, and wrote the entire chapter in about 2 hours. It flowed effortlessly, because my subconscious had done the work while I slept. This has happened to me countless times with different problems. Financial solutions, relationship guidance, health improvements, decisions I needed to make. I learned to use my sleep time as problem-solving time. I give the question to my subconscious before sleep. I trust in the infinite intelligence within me, and I wake up with the answer. Or, if not immediately, the answer comes within a day or two, often in surprising ways. This same principle works with anything. If you go to sleep thinking, I'm so tired of being sick, your subconscious works on being sick all night. But if you go to sleep thinking, thank you for my perfect health, your subconscious works on creating perfect health. If you go to sleep thinking, I'll never have enough money, your subconscious creates lack. If you go to sleep thinking, I am prosperous and abundant, your subconscious creates prosperity. Now, the third principle, and this is absolutely crucial. Feeling is the secret. I want you to write this down, memorize it, tattoo it on your heart. Feeling is the secret. It's not the words you say. It's not the affirmations you repeat. It's the feeling behind those words that has creative power. You can say I am healthy 1,000 times, but if you're saying it with fear in your heart, with doubt in your belly, those words are empty. They're just sounds. They have no power. Why? Because your subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to feeling. It responds to emotion. It responds to the felt sense of reality. Let me explain this more deeply. Your subconscious mind speaks a different language than your conscious mind. Your conscious mind speaks in words, in logic, in reason. But your subconscious speaks in images, in feelings, in sensations. It's the language of emotion, not logic. So when you're trying to communicate with your subconscious, you need to speak its language. When you say an affirmation, any affirmation, the words themselves are just vehicles. They're carriers. What they're carrying is feeling, is meaning, is conviction. If the affirmation carries the feeling of fear, doubt, or desperation, that's what your subconscious receives. If it carries the feeling of faith, confidence, and certainty, that's what your subconscious receives. Let me give you an example. Two people might say the exact same affirmation. I am healed. Person A says it while thinking about their symptoms, feeling scared, doubting it's possible, hoping maybe it might work. Person B says it while feeling in their body what health feels like, seeing themselves whole and vibrant, experiencing gratitude for their healing, feeling it is already done. Both people said the same words, but they'll get completely different results. Person A impressed fear and doubt on their subconscious. Person B impressed faith and certainty. The subconscious of person A will create more sickness because that's the feeling that was transmitted. The subconscious of person B will create health because that's the feeling that was transmitted. This is what I mean when I say feel it real, and your subconscious will make it real. You must feel the reality of your desire before it manifests in physical form. You must live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not hoping it will happen, not wishing it would happen, feeling it has already happened. That feeling is what impresses your subconscious. That feeling is what creates. How do you generate this feeling? Through imagination. Your imagination is your creative workshop. In your imagination, you can experience anything. You can be anywhere. You can have anything. And if you make that imagined experience vivid enough, sensory enough, detailed enough, your subconscious accepts it as real. So tonight, when you're doing your affirmations before sleep, don't just repeat words mechanically. Stop and feel. If you're affirming health, take a moment to really feel what health feels like in your body. Feel energy flowing through you. Feel your body working perfectly. Feel the freedom of movement, the ease of breathing, the joy of vitality. Make it real in your feeling world. If you're affirming prosperity, feel what prosperity feels like. Feel the security of having more than enough. Feel the freedom that comes with abundance. Feel the gratitude for all you have. See yourself in your mind's eye living prosperously. See the circumstances that would exist if you were prosperous. Make it sensory. Make it real. Make it vivid. The more real you make it in your imagination and feeling, the more powerfully you impress it on your subconscious. And your subconscious must create in your outer world what you've created in your inner world. It's law. It cannot be otherwise. Now let me share the fourth principle, and this one might surprise you. It's what I call the law of reversed effort. The principle is this. The harder you try to make something happen, the more you push it away. The more you struggle and strain and force, the more difficult it becomes. Why? Because effort, striving, trying hard, all come from the conscious mind, and the conscious mind is limited. Creation comes from the subconscious mind, which is connected to infinite power. When you try hard, you're actually blocking the subconscious from doing its work. Think about sleep itself. This is the perfect example of the law of reversed effort. You cannot force yourself to sleep. Have you ever tried? Have you ever lain in bed saying, I have to fall asleep, I must fall asleep, come on fall asleep, why am I not asleep yet? What happens? You become more awake. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. Sleep only happens when you let go, when you stop trying, when you surrender to the natural process. You can't make yourself fall asleep. You can only allow it. The same law applies to everything else. You can't force healing. You can't force prosperity. You can't force solutions to problems. All of these come from the deeper part of you, the subconscious part, the part connected to infinite intelligence. That part works not through effort but through surrender, not through striving but through allowing, not through force but through faith. This is why I keep emphasizing sleep as the time for this work. Because sleep is the ultimate state of surrender. When you go to sleep, you're already letting go. You're already releasing conscious control. You're already relaxing into a state of allowing. This is the perfect state for impressing your subconscious, for receiving rather than taking, for allowing rather than forcing. During the day, you act. You make decisions. You take steps. You do what needs to be done in the physical world. But at night, you surrender. You let go. You trust. You give it to your subconscious, to the infinite intelligence within you. You say, I've done my part, now you do yours. And you fall asleep in that trust, in that faith, in that surrender. When you do this, miracles happen. Not because you tried so hard, but because you stopped trying, and let the creative power within you work. The trying was in the way. The effort was blocking the flow. When you remove the blockage through surrender, the natural healing power could flow freely. I've seen this in my own life so many times. When I've struggled and pushed and tried to force outcomes, things got harder. When I've let go, and trusted, and surrendered to the process, things flowed easily. It's not that you do nothing. It's that you do what's yours to do in the conscious realm, and then you trust the subconscious to do what's its to do in the creative realm. The fifth principle is this, and it's one of the most beautiful truths I know. There is an infinite intelligence within you that knows the answer to every problem. You are not limited to your conscious knowledge, your personal experience, your education, your abilities. You are connected to infinite wisdom, infinite creativity, infinite power. Your subconscious mind is connected to this universal intelligence, this mind of God, if you will. And it has access to knowledge far beyond what your conscious mind could ever attain. Think about the great discoveries, the great inventions, the great works of art throughout human history. How many of them came through dreams? How many came through that twilight state between waking and sleeping? How many came as sudden flashes of inspiration that seemed to come from nowhere? Thomas Edison used to take naps when he was stuck on a problem, holding ball bearings in his hands. As he drifted off to sleep, his hands would relax, the ball bearings would drop and wake him up, and he'd capture whatever insights came in that twilight state. Mendeleev discovered the periodic table of elements in a dream. Auguste Kekule discovered the structure of the benzene molecule in a dream. Mary Shelley received the story of Frankenstein in a dream. Paul McCartney heard the melody of Yesterday in a dream. These aren't isolated incidents. Throughout history, people have received solutions, insights, guidance, and creativity from this deeper level of mind. Why? Because when the conscious mind is quiet, when it's not interfering with its limited knowledge, and its doubts, and its logic, the subconscious can communicate clearly, and the subconscious has access to infinite intelligence. You can use this deliberately. You don't have to wait for it to happen randomly. Before you fall asleep, pose a question to your subconscious. Make it specific and clear. What is the solution to this problem? What is my next right step? How can I heal this condition? What should I do about this situation? State your question clearly. Then release it. This is crucial. Don't analyze it. Don't worry about it. Don't try to figure it out with your conscious mind. Just trust that your subconscious, connected to infinite intelligence, is already working on the answer. Say something like, I give this question to the infinite intelligence within me. I trust that the perfect answer will be revealed to me in perfect timing. Thank you. Then let it go completely, and fall asleep, in peace. When you wake up, you might have the answer. You might not. Either way, trust the process. The answer might come in a dream that you remember. It might come as a sudden knowing when you wake up. It might come through a conversation you have the next day, where someone says exactly what you needed to hear. It might come through a book that falls open to the right page. It might come through an opportunity that appears out of nowhere. The infinite intelligence within you knows how to deliver the answer. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to ask, to trust, and to be open to receiving in whatever form the answer comes. I promise you, if you do this sincerely, the answer will come. It always does. Always. I've used this technique for everything. For personal problems. For guidance in my work. For healing. For financial solutions. For relationship issues. For decisions big and small. I've taught this to thousands of people, and they've all reported the same thing. When you ask with faith and let go with trust, answers come. Solutions appear. The way forward becomes clear. The sixth principle is repetition and persistence. I want to be completely honest with you here. This work requires consistency. One night of positive programming usually isn't enough to override years or decades of negative programming. Your current life conditions are the result of habitual thought patterns you've been running for a long time. Those patterns are deeply grooved in your subconscious. They've become automatic, default programs. To create new patterns, you need to reprogram through repetition. Think about how you learned anything in your life. How did you learn to walk? Through repetition. You tried and fell. Tried and fell. Tried and fell. Over and over until your subconscious learned the pattern, and then walking became automatic. You don't think about how to walk now. Your subconscious handles it. How did you learn to read? Through repetition. Seeing words over and over until they became automatic. How did you learn to drive? Through repetition. Your thought patterns work the same way. If you've spent 20 years falling asleep worried about money, that's a deeply ingrained pattern. You can't expect to change it with one night of affirmations. You need time to create a new groove, a new pattern, a new default program. This is why I usually recommend a minimum of 30 days of consistent practice. Every single night, without exception, impress the same thought, the same belief, the same feeling on your subconscious. Make it a ritual. Make it a sacred practice. Make it as automatic as brushing your teeth. Be patient with yourself. Be gentle. The first few nights might feel awkward or ineffective. Your old patterns will try to reassert themselves. Your doubts will try to creep in. This is normal. This is expected. Don't let it discourage you. Just keep going. Keep impressing the new pattern, night after night after night. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. Even though you might not see immediate results, the work is being done. Seeds are being planted. New neural pathways are being formed. Your subconscious is accepting the new program. It's like planting a seed in the ground. You don't see anything for days or weeks. The seed is underground, germinating, growing roots, but you can't see it yet. You have to trust the process. You have to keep watering the soil. And then one day, the sprout breaks through the surface. And then it grows quickly. The same with your subconscious programming. The first days or weeks, you might not see outer changes, but the inner work is happening. The seed is germinating. Your subconscious is reorganizing. New patterns are forming. And then suddenly, things start to change in your outer world. Opportunities appear. Health improves. Circumstances shift. And it often happens faster than you expect once it starts. But you must persist through that initial period when you can't see results yet. This is where most people fail. They try for a few days, see no immediate change, and give up. Don't be one of those people. Commit to 30 days. Commit to 60 days. Commit to making this a lifelong practice. Because that's what it is. This isn't a quick fix. This is a way of life. This is learning to work with the laws of your own consciousness consistently and persistently. I've been doing this for over 30 years. Every single night, before I fall asleep, I impress upon my subconscious what I desire. Health, wisdom, guidance, service, contribution. It's as automatic to me now as breathing. And my life reflects what I've been impressing on my subconscious all these years. It works, but it requires consistency. The seventh principle is understanding the two spheres of mind and how they must work together. You have two aspects of mind, the conscious and the subconscious. They have different functions, and they must work in harmony for you to live effectively. Your conscious mind is the thinking, reasoning, deciding part of you. It's your waking awareness. It chooses. It analyzes. It judges. It makes decisions. It's the captain of your ship. It's what you consider yourself during the day. The conscious mind can accept or reject thoughts. It has the power of choice. This is crucial. Your conscious mind is where your free will resides. Your subconscious mind is the feeling, creative, manifesting part of you. It's the crew that carries out the captain's orders. It doesn't reason. It doesn't argue. It simply accepts what the conscious mind impresses upon it and creates accordingly. The subconscious controls all bodily functions, all habits, all automatic behaviors. It's the connection to infinite intelligence. It's the creative power within you. When these two work together harmoniously, life flows beautifully. The conscious mind chooses what it wants. The subconscious creates it. Simple, effective, powerful. But when they're in conflict, you have problems. And most people are in severe conflict between their conscious and subconscious minds. For example, consciously you might say, I want to be wealthy. But subconsciously, you might believe money is evil, or rich people are bad, or you don't deserve abundance, or money causes problems. Your conscious desire, and your subconscious belief, are in conflict. And in this battle, the subconscious always wins. Why? Because the subconscious is more powerful. It's connected to the creative force. So even though you consciously want wealth, your subconscious belief will sabotage every attempt to create it. You'll make money and lose it. Opportunities will appear and fall through. You'll be blocked at every turn, and you won't understand why. Or consciously you might say, I want to be healthy. But, subconsciously, you might believe you have weak genetics, or illness runs in your family, or you're prone to getting sick, or your body can't heal itself. Again, conflict. And again, the subconscious wins. Your body follows your subconscious beliefs, not your conscious wishes. This is why so many people struggle. They're working against themselves. Their two minds are pulling in opposite directions. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You don't go anywhere, except toward exhaustion and frustration. The solution is to align your conscious and subconscious minds. How? By consciously and deliberately impressing new beliefs on your subconscious, especially before sleep when the subconscious is most receptive. You use the power of your conscious mind, which is choice, to choose what beliefs you want to hold. Then you impress those chosen beliefs on your subconscious through repetition, feeling, and visualization. Before sleep is the perfect time for this alignment. You consciously choose your affirmation, your desired belief. You repeat it with feeling. You visualize it as real. And as you drift into sleep, your conscious mind releases its grip, and the subconscious accepts the new program without resistance. Over time, through repetition, the new belief becomes established in your subconscious. The conflict resolves. Both minds are now working toward the same goal. And that's when transformation happens. Think of the conscious mind as the gardener, and the subconscious as the garden. The gardener decides what to plant. The garden grows what's planted. The gardener doesn't make the plants grow. The gardener doesn't control the process of growth. The gardener just plants the right seeds in good soil, waters them, and trusts the natural growing power to do its work. You are the gardener of your consciousness. Your job is to plant the right seeds, the right thoughts, the right beliefs. Then let your subconscious, which is connected to the infinite creative power, grow them into reality. You plant. God grows. You choose. Your subconscious creates. That's the partnership. That's how it's meant to work. The eighth and final principle I want to share with you is this. Your word is law to your subconscious. Whatever you decree with feeling and conviction becomes law in your inner world and must manifest in your outer world. This is enormous power and enormous responsibility. Your habitual self-talk is programming your subconscious every moment of every day. The things you say to yourself, out loud or silently, are commands to your creative power. If you habitually say, I'm so tired, you're commanding your subconscious to create fatigue. If you habitually say, I never have enough, you're commanding lack. If you habitually say, I always get sick in winter, you're programming sickness. Most people are completely unconscious of this. They say these negative things without realizing they're creating their own problems. They think they're just describing reality. But they're not describing reality. They're creating it. Every word you speak about yourself is a creative act. This is especially true for words that follow, I am. I am is one of the most powerful combinations of words in any language. I am is the name of God in many traditions. I am that I am. When you say I am, you're invoking creative power. Whatever you attach to I am, you become. Whatever follows, I am becomes your reality. I am tired. I am sick. I am broke. I am unlucky. I am not good enough. I am too old. I am stuck. These are not descriptions. These are declarations. They're decrees. They're commands to your subconscious. And your subconscious faithfully creates circumstances that match those commands. But the same power works in the positive direction. I am healthy. I am prosperous. I am loved. I am guided. I am strong. I am capable. I am blessed. I am enough. These declarations, spoken with feeling and belief, become law in your consciousness. And what is law in your consciousness must manifest in your experience. So watch your words. Watch your habitual self-talk. Especially watch what you say right before sleep, because those words go deepest into your subconscious. If you catch yourself speaking negatively about yourself, stop. Correct it. Say, no, that's not true. The truth is. And then speak what you want to be true. Claim it. Decree it. Make it law. Your word is powerful. Your word creates. Use your words deliberately, consciously, creatively. Speak only what you want to experience. This isn't lying to yourself. This is speaking truth from a higher level. From the level of possibility, of potential, of what can be and will be as you believe it. Now, my friend, let's make all of this practical. I've given you the principles. Now I want to give you specific techniques you can use tonight. These aren't complicated. They're simple. But don't confuse simple with powerless. The most powerful truths are always the simplest. The first technique is what I call the basic sleep technique. This is the foundation. Master this, and you have everything you need. Here's how you do it, step by step. When you lie down in bed tonight, take a moment to get really comfortable. Adjust your pillows, arrange your blankets. Make sure you're warm enough, but not too warm. Make sure you're in a position you can maintain comfortably. This is important, because you want to remove all physical distractions. You want your body to be so comfortable that you can forget about it and focus on your mind. Now close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Just breathe naturally, but bring your awareness to your breath. Feel the air coming in. Feel it going out. This begins the relaxation process. This begins to quiet your conscious mind. Now, systematically relax your entire body. Start with your feet. Bring your attention to your feet. Feel them. Notice any tension. And then consciously let that tension go. Feel your feet becoming heavy and relaxed. Feel them sinking into the mattress. Complete relaxation in your feet. Move up to your ankles. Relax them. Your calves. Feel the muscles releasing, relaxing. Your knees. Your thighs. Work your way up slowly. Your hips. Your lower back. Your stomach. Your chest. Feel your breathing becoming slower and deeper as your body relaxes. Your shoulders, where so many people hold tension. Let them drop. Let them relax completely. Your arms. Your hands. Your fingers. Complete relaxation. Your neck. Let it relax. Your jaw, which often holds tension without you realizing it. Let your jaw hang slightly open. Relax your face. Your forehead. Your eyes. Your scalp. Your entire body, from your feet to your head, completely relaxed, heavy, sinking into the bed. This process might take 5 minutes. It might take 10. Don't rush it. This relaxation is important. It's quieting your conscious mind. It's preparing your subconscious to receive. Now, once your body is completely relaxed, choose one simple affirmation, just one. This is crucial. Don't try to work on 5 different things at once. Choose the most important thing you need right now. If healing is your priority, choose a healing affirmation. If peace is what you need most, choose a peace affirmation. If guidance, if prosperity, whatever is most important to you right now, choose one clear, simple affirmation. Some examples. I am healed, whole, and perfect. Infinite intelligence is healing me now. Every cell of my body radiates health. I sleep in peace and wake in joy. Divine love surrounds me and fills me. I am divinely guided in all my ways. Infinite abundance flows to me now. I am prospered, In everything I do, I am at peace. All is well in my world. I am safe. I am loved. I am enough. Choose one that resonates with your current need. State it in the present tense, as if it's already true. State it positively, not negatively. Don't say, I am not sick. Say, I am healthy. Don't say, I don't have problems. Say, all is well. The subconscious doesn't process negatives well. Give it a positive image, a positive feeling. Now begin to repeat your affirmation, silently, to yourself. Not mechanically. Not like a robot. With feeling. With conviction. With faith. Really mean it. Feel the truth of it. As you say, I am healed. Feel yourself healed. Feel what health feels like in your body. As you say, I am at peace, feel peace filling you. Make it real in your feeling world. Keep repeating your affirmation gently, peacefully, lovingly to yourself, like a lullaby. Like a song. Let it have rhythm, let it soothe you, and as you repeat it, you'll naturally begin to drift toward sleep. Your conscious mind will start to fade. The affirmation will go deeper and deeper into your subconscious. Your mind will wander. This is normal. Thoughts will come. To-do lists. Memories. Worries. When you notice this happening, don't fight it. Don't get frustrated. Just gently, kindly, lovingly bring your attention back to your affirmation. Back to the feeling. Back to the truth you're impressing on your subconscious. Think of it like training a puppy. The puppy wanders off. You gently bring it back. It wanders again. You bring it back again. No anger, no frustration, just patient, gentle guidance. That's how you work with your wandering mind. Keep bringing it back to your affirmation, to your desired belief, to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The goal is to fall asleep with this affirmation as your last conscious thought, to drift off in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you do this, that thought, that feeling, drops into your subconscious without any resistance, and your subconscious works on it all night long. All night, while you rest, your creative power is being directed toward manifesting what you've impressed upon it. Do this every single night. Make it a ritual. Make it as habitual as brushing your teeth. In fact, you might want to tie it to your nighttime routine. After you brush your teeth, after you turn off the lights, after you lie down, you do your affirmation work. Make it consistent. Make it regular. Because it's through this consistent practice that you reprogram your subconscious and transform your life. The second technique is the gratitude method. This one is beautiful in its simplicity and incredibly powerful. Gratitude is one of the highest frequencies you can hold. When you're in genuine gratitude, you cannot simultaneously be in fear, anger, or worry. Gratitude displaces negative emotion. Gratitude aligns you with the frequency of abundance. When you feel grateful, you're feeling rich, blessed, abundant, and your subconscious creates more circumstances to feel grateful for. Here's how you practice this technique. Before you sleep, instead of reviewing all the problems of your day, instead of worrying about tomorrow, take time to review all your blessings. Go through your day and find things to appreciate. Start with the big things if you want. Maybe you have your health, or people who love you, or meaningful work. But then go to the small things. The small things are often more powerful, because they train you to see blessing in everything. Maybe you had a good cup of coffee this morning. Be grateful for that. Maybe someone smiled at you. Be grateful for that. Maybe the sun was shining. Maybe you had a moment of laughter. Maybe your body carried you through another day, without you having to think about it. Maybe you have clean water to drink. Maybe you have a comfortable bed to sleep in. Find things. Deliberately look for things to be grateful for. And as you find each thing, really feel the gratitude. Don't just list things mechanically. Actually feel thankful. Let the gratitude fill your chest. Let it warm you. Let it expand through your body. Gratitude is a feeling, not just a thought. Make it real. You can do this in your mind, or you can speak it out loud. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Some people like to keep a gratitude journal by their bed. Every night before sleep, They write down 5 or 10 things they're grateful for. This works beautifully because it combines the practice with the physical act of writing, which reinforces it. Continue this practice until gratitude is the dominant feeling in your heart, until you feel genuinely abundant, genuinely blessed, genuinely rich and good. Then, holding that feeling of gratitude, drift off to sleep. Let gratitude be the last emotion you feel before you lose consciousness. That feeling of gratitude will be impressed deeply on your subconscious. All night, your subconscious will work to create more circumstances that match that grateful, abundant frequency. I've practiced this method for years, and I can tell you, it changes everything. When you make gratitude your default state, especially before sleep, your life becomes a continuous flow of blessings. Things to be grateful for appear constantly. It's like you've tuned your radio to the frequency of abundance, and that's all you receive. Try this for 7 days. Just 7 days. Every night, count your blessings before sleep. Fall asleep in gratitude. And watch what happens in your life. You'll be amazed. More good will flow to you. You'll notice opportunities you would have missed before. You'll feel happier, more peaceful, more abundant, even if your outer circumstances haven't changed dramatically, though I predict they will change, if you persist. The third technique is the question technique. This is perfect when you have a specific problem or decision you're facing. This technique taps into the infinite intelligence within your subconscious. Remember, your subconscious is connected to universal wisdom. It has access to knowledge far beyond your conscious understanding. You can deliberately seek guidance from this infinite intelligence by posing questions before sleep. Here's how you do it. Before you lie down to sleep, or just after you lie down, clearly state your question. Make it specific. Make it clear. Not vague like, what should I do? But specific, like, what is the solution to this problem with my health? Or what is my next right step regarding this job decision? Or how can I improve my relationship with my daughter? Or what creative approach should I take with this project? State your question clearly. You can say it out loud or silently. You can even write it down. Some people find it helpful to write the question in a journal before bed. There's something about the act of writing that makes it more concrete, more real. Once you've stated your question clearly, here's the crucial part. Release it. Let it go. This is where most people mess up. They ask the question, and then they immediately start trying to answer it with their conscious mind. They analyze. They worry. They try to figure it out. This defeats the whole purpose. You're asking your subconscious, your connection to infinite intelligence, for the answer. You need to get your limited conscious mind out of the way. So after you ask the question, say something like this. I give this question to the infinite intelligence within me. I trust that the perfect answer will be revealed to me at the perfect time, in the perfect way. I don't need to know how. I don't need to know when. I simply trust. Thank you for the answer. It is already given. Then let it go completely. Don't think about it anymore. Don't try to solve it. Just trust and fall asleep in peace. You might fall asleep repeating something like, the answer is coming to me now, or I receive divine guidance, or infinite intelligence guides me. Something that affirms your trust in receiving the answer, without trying to force what that answer is. Now, when will the answer come? It varies. Sometimes you'll wake up in the morning and the answer will be there, clear as day, like it was placed in your mind while you slept. Sometimes you'll have a dream that contains the answer, either literally, or symbolically. Sometimes the answer will come during the day following your question. You'll be going about your business, and suddenly, you'll have a moment of clarity, an insight, an aha moment. Or someone will say something that's exactly what you needed to hear. Or you'll read something, see something, encounter some circumstance that provides the answer. The key is to stay open, stay receptive, trust that the answer is coming, and pay attention. The answer might not come in the form you expect. It might be subtle. It might be in a form you need to recognize and acknowledge. That's why I say, thank you for the answer, even before it consciously appears. You're affirming that it's already given, you just need to receive it. I've used this technique thousands of times in my life. For major life decisions. For everyday problems. for creative work, for relationship issues, for health questions, for financial decisions. I ask before sleep, I trust, I let go, and the answer comes. Always. Sometimes within hours, sometimes within days, but it always comes. Try this tonight. If you have a question or problem you're facing, ask clearly, trust completely, let go fully, and watch what happens. The infinite intelligence within you knows the answer. It's just waiting for you to ask and to trust enough to receive. The fourth technique is the visualization method. This is powerful for those who think in images, who have a visual imagination. Your imagination is your creative workshop. In your imagination, you can experience anything. And to your subconscious mind, a vividly imagined experience with strong emotion is as real as an actual experience. This is scientifically proven. Brain scans show that imagining an action activates the same areas of the brain as actually performing that action. So you can use your imagination deliberately to impress on your subconscious the reality you desire. Here's how. When you're lying in bed, body relaxed, ready for sleep, create a mental scene that implies your wish is already fulfilled. This is important. Don't visualize yourself trying to achieve your goal. Visualize yourself having already achieved it. Don't see yourself sick hoping to be well. See yourself already well, doing things that a healthy person does. Don't see yourself poor hoping to be rich. See yourself already prosperous, living in abundance. Create a scene that would naturally occur after your wish is fulfilled. Make it simple. Just a short scene, maybe 10 or 15 seconds long. But make it detailed. Make it sensory rich. What do you see in this scene? Look around. Notice colors, shapes, objects, people. What do you hear? Sounds, voices, music? What do you feel? Not emotionally yet, but physically. What sensations in your body? Temperature, texture, movement. What do you smell? What do you taste if applicable? Make it as real and as vivid as possible. And most importantly, step into the scene. Don't watch yourself from outside like watching a movie. Be in the scene. See through your own eyes. This is first person, not third person. You're not observing yourself. You are yourself in this scene, experiencing it directly. For example, if you're working on healing, you might visualize yourself doing something that only a healthy person could do. Maybe you see yourself running, feeling your strong legs carrying you effortlessly, feeling the wind on your face, hearing your steady breathing, feeling exhilarated and vital and alive. Or maybe you see yourself at a doctor's office, and the doctor is shaking your hand with a big smile, saying your test results are perfect. Everything is completely normal. You're in excellent health. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Feel the gratitude. If you're working on prosperity, maybe you visualize yourself at your bank, looking at your account balance, seeing a number that represents abundance to you, feeling secure, and grateful, and free. Or maybe you visualize yourself writing a generous check for a charity, feeling the joy of being able to give abundantly. Or maybe you see yourself in the home you desire, looking around, touching the walls, feeling I'm finally home. I'm here, this is mine. If you're working on a relationship being healed, maybe you visualize an embrace, feeling the warmth, hearing words of love and forgiveness, feeling your heart full. Whatever your desire, create a scene that implies it's fulfilled. Then replay that scene in your imagination. Go through it slowly, experiencing every sensation, every detail. Feel it as real. Feel the emotion of it, the joy, the gratitude, the relief, the satisfaction. Make it so real that your subconscious accepts it as actually happening. Replay this scene as you drift off to sleep. Over and over. Gently. Peacefully. Like a beloved memory you're reliving. And as you drift deeper towards sleep, the scene will sink deeper into your subconscious. Your subconscious will accept it as real. And once your subconscious accepts something as real, it must create that reality in your outer world. That's the law. Do this every night, with the same scene, or with variations on the same theme. Consistency is important. You're impressing a pattern on your subconscious. The more you repeat it, the deeper it goes, the more powerfully it manifests. This technique has been used by people throughout history to achieve remarkable things. Athletes use it to improve performance. Artists use it to enhance creativity. Business people use it to achieve success. It works because it's based on how your mind actually functions. Your subconscious creates what you impress upon it. Visualization is a powerful way to impress. Try it tonight. Create your scene. Make it vivid. Make it sensory. Step into it. Feel it as real. And replay it as you fall asleep. Do this for 30 days and watch your life change. The fifth and final technique I want to give you is the forgiveness release. This is so important, my friend, that I want to spend some time on it. Unforgiveness is one of the greatest blocks to healing, to prosperity, to peace, to everything good in life. Resentment is like a poison you drink hoping someone else will die. It hurts only you. It creates a block in your consciousness that prevents the flow of good into your life. Forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. When you forgive, you're not saying what they did was okay. You're not condoning bad behavior. You're simply releasing yourself from the prison of resentment. You're freeing yourself from the burden of bitterness. You're removing the block so that healing, love, prosperity, and good can flow freely into your life. Here's the practice. Before you go to sleep, sit quietly for a moment and ask yourself, is there anyone I'm holding resentment toward? Is there anyone I haven't forgiven? It might be someone from today. It might be someone from years ago. It might be someone who hurt you deeply. It might be someone who wronged you in a small way but you've been holding on to it. Bring that person to mind. Now, see their face in your mind's eye. See them clearly. And say to them, either out loud or silently in your heart, I fully and freely forgive you. I release you to your highest good. I wish you well. And I let you go. Say it even if you don't feel it at first. Say it with the intention of meaning it. Say it, and let the words do their work in your heart. As you say these words, visualize cutting cords between you and this person. See cords of resentment, anger, hurt, all dissolving. See them walking away into light. See yourself free, released, no longer bound to this person through negative emotion. Feel the relief. Feel the burden lifting. Feel yourself becoming lighter. If there are multiple people you need to forgive, do this with each one. And then, this is crucial, forgive yourself. We're often harder on ourselves than we are on anyone else. We carry guilt and shame and self-judgment that weighs us down and blocks our good. Say to yourself, I forgive myself for all mistakes. I forgive myself for all judgments I've held against myself. I forgive myself for not being perfect. I am learning and growing. I release all guilt. I release all shame. I am free. I am forgiven. I am clean. I am new. Feel this forgiveness sinking into your heart. Feel yourself releasing the burden of self-condemnation. You are not your mistakes. You are a beloved child of the infinite, learning and growing, always worthy of love and forgiveness. When you've done this forgiveness work, you'll feel different. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel more peaceful. Then you can go to sleep. And as you drift off, you might repeat something like, I sleep in peace and forgiveness, or I am free from all resentment, or divine love flows through me freely now. When you release resentment, when you forgive, you clear the channel. You remove the dam. Healing can flow. Love can flow. Prosperity can flow. Good can flow. Everything you've been blocking through unforgiveness can now flow freely into your life. Make this a regular practice. Not just once, but regularly. Every night, check in with yourself. Is there anything I need to forgive today? Anyone I need to release? Any resentment I need to let go of? Keep your heart clean. Keep your consciousness clear. Don't let resentment accumulate. Release it immediately. Before you sleep. I promise you, this practice alone can transform your life. I've seen people healed of chronic illnesses after they finally forgave someone they'd resented for years. I've seen relationships restored. I've seen financial situations turn around. Forgiveness is powerful. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is healing. These 5 techniques are yours to use, starting tonight. You don't need to use all of them every night. Choose one or two that resonate most with your current needs. Maybe you start with the basic technique and add gratitude. Or maybe you focus on visualization and forgiveness. Find what works for you. What matters is consistency. Do something every single night. Make it a practice. Make it a ritual. Make it your way of life. And trust the process. Trust that as you impress these positive thoughts, these healing beliefs, these empowering affirmations on your subconscious, especially in those golden moments before sleep, your life must change. Your body must heal. Your circumstances must improve. Your relationships must become more harmonious. This is law. This is how consciousness works. This is how your mind creates your reality. Now, my dear friend, as we come toward the end of our time together tonight, I want to gather up everything I've shared with you and give it to you in its simplest, most essential form, because I want you to remember. I want this to be so clear, so simple, that you can carry it with you and apply it every single night for the rest of your life. Here's the essence of everything I've taught you tonight. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful creative force in your life. It never sleeps. It's always working, always creating, always manifesting your inner beliefs into outer reality. The moments just before you fall asleep are the golden moments when you can program your subconscious deliberately and powerfully, because your conscious mind is relaxing its control and your subconscious is wide open, receptive, ready to receive. Whatever you impress on your subconscious with feeling and repetition, especially in these moments before sleep, will manifest in your life. This is not hope. This is not wishful thinking. This is law. This is how your mind works. This is how consciousness creates reality. You don't need to struggle anymore. You don't need to force outcomes. You don't need to fight against life. You simply need to learn to work with the creative power within you. You need to give your subconscious the right instructions. You need to impress upon it what you desire, not what you fear. You need to feel your wish as already fulfilled, not as something you're desperately hoping for. And then you need to let go and trust. Let go and let God. Let go and let your subconscious, connected to infinite intelligence, do its perfect work. Everything you need is already within you. The healing power that beats your heart and breathes your lungs can heal anything in your body. The creative intelligence that formed you in your mother's womb can solve any problem, create any circumstance, manifest any good you desire. The infinite wisdom that created the universe lives in you, is available to you. All you need to do is cooperate with it. How do you cooperate? By using your conscious mind, which is your power of choice, to choose what you will believe. Choose what you will think about, especially before sleep. Choose what you will feel. Choose what you will impress upon your subconscious. And then trust your subconscious. Trust the infinite intelligence within you, to bring it to pass in the perfect way at the perfect time. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is not to make it happen through struggle and strain. Your job is simply to impress the desire on your subconscious with faith and feeling, and then to remain open and receptive to how it manifests. The how is not your concern. The how is handled by infinite intelligence. Your concern is the what, and the faith. What do you desire? Do you have faith that it can be yours? That's all. Think about this. Right now, at this very moment, your heart is beating. You're not making it beat. You're not consciously directing each contraction. Your subconscious is handling it automatically, perfectly, without your interference. Your lungs are breathing, automatically, perfectly. Your body is performing thousands of complex functions right now, all without your conscious control. Your subconscious is managing this incredible complexity flawlessly. Why do you trust your subconscious to beat your heart, but not to heal your body? Why do you trust it to breathe your lungs but not to prosper your affairs? Why do you trust it with the automatic functions, but not with the deliberate creations? It's the same power, the same intelligence, the same infinite creative capacity. You just need to direct it consciously, through your thoughts and feelings, especially before sleep. So tonight, as you lie down to rest, as you begin to drift towards sleep, remember this. You are not just going to sleep. You are entering the most creative, Most powerful time of your day. You are approaching the golden moment when you can reprogram your entire life. You are coming to the open door of your subconscious mind, where infinite possibilities await. Don't waste this time with worry and fear. Don't throw away this golden opportunity by falling asleep in anxiety and frustration. Instead, use this time wisely. Use it deliberately. Use it to create the life you desire, the health you deserve, the peace you need, the prosperity that is your birthright. Choose your affirmation. Feel it as real. Visualize your wish fulfilled. Release all resentment. Count your blessings. Pose your question to infinite intelligence. And then let go. Surrender. Trust. Fall asleep in faith, in peace, in the feeling of your good already done. As you drift off tonight, or any night you come back to this message, I invite you to say these words with me in your heart. Feel them in your soul. Let them become your truth. Let them sink deep into your subconscious. Say silently or out loud, I now let go of everything. Every worry. Every fear. Every doubt. Every problem. I release them all. The infinite healing presence is flowing through me right now, restoring every cell of my body, healing every condition, dissolving every problem, bringing peace to my mind and harmony to all my affairs. I am whole. I am healed. I am free. I sleep in perfect peace, knowing that as I rest, the infinite intelligence within me is working, creating, manifesting all good in my life. I wake in joy, refreshed, renewed, restored. All is well in my world. Everything is working together for my highest good. I am divinely guided. I am divinely protected. I am divinely loved. I am abundant in all things. I am enough. I am blessed. It is done. It is already done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Rest now, my friend. Rest in peace. Rest in faith. Rest in the knowing that the power within you is at work, while you sleep. Your subconscious never sleeps. It's working for you right now, healing you, guiding you, creating your good. All you need to do is rest and trust. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt something shift within you as you've listened, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. There's so much more I want to share with you. So much more wisdom, so many more techniques, so many more truths that can set you free. Subscribe so we can continue this journey together. If this brought you peace, if it gave you hope, if it showed you a new way forward, please leave a like. Your like tells me that this message is reaching people who need it, and it helps others to find this message too. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Share your experiences. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what changes you notice as you apply these principles. Tell me your transformations, your healings, your victories. Your stories inspire me, and they inspire others who read them. We're all in this together, learning, growing, supporting each other. Leave a comment and become part of this community of people who are learning to use their minds consciously and creatively. Remember, my friend, the power is within you. It was always there. It's there right now. You don't need to seek it outside yourself. You don't need to wait for someone else to give it to you. You have it. You are it. You are an expression of the infinite. You are a center of divine creative power. You are enough. You always were enough. You always will be enough. Use this power wisely. Use it nightly. Use it consciously. Use it for good. Use it to heal yourself, to prosper yourself, to bless yourself and others. Use it to create a life of joy, peace, health, and abundance. This is your birthright. This is your inheritance. This is your truth. Sleep in peace tonight and every night. Fall asleep, knowing that the infinite intelligence within you is at work, creating miracles while you rest. Wake tomorrow refreshed and renewed, ready to see evidence of your subconscious mind's creative power manifesting in your life. Good night, my dear friend. God bless you. And remember always, you are loved, you are guided, you are never alone. The infinite is with you, in you, as you. Now and forever. Sleep well. Dream beautiful dreams. and wake to a beautiful new reality. Good night.